Hello, everybody. Obviously, I mixed up a couple things on the intro video there, but just wanted to say yes, I do realize that those 17 seconds was an abomination, and I apologize. But I do want to say that we have a real treat for you today. This ranking of every asterisk free league tabletop role-playing game, and the reason why there's an asterisk is because some games will not be included for various reasons. Notably, because today I woke up and checked my email inbox and found a message from Free League announcing a new Free League game of Twilight Sword. And it's Twilight Sword is from the same company that does Outgunned. It looks like a Legend of Zelda type game. I always forget the name of this company, and the name that keeps blocking everything in my head. I know this is wrong, but the company is not Two Little Italian Men. That's what I always think that the company's called, but it's called like Two Blind Mice or I don't know. Anyways, that is over in the penalty box here. We'll see why. That won't be included. I am still going to grade these games on certain criteria that I'll talk about. But ultimately, the thing that nobody has to say, because it should be understood, is like just my take at it, just my experiences with it. However, because of my intellect, creativity, court vision in terms of basketball, this ranking is actually objectively correct. So this one is a little bit different than the other videos you see by all these bozos on YouTube who don't know what they're talking about. I do. So this is going to be the definitive Free League ranking of all Free League asterisk at all games. Okay, so as a bit of a brief preamble, I just want to say that I love Free League publishing, and I say that unabashedly. I am a huge fan. I love collecting. I even love their dice. I actually enjoy using their dice for actual reasons other than like whatever motivates people who buy Funko dolls or whatever. Maybe it's some of that, but I love the Year Zero engine, their dice resolution system, and that's a big part of why I like their dice, because what I love about the Year Zero engine is putting together this pool of dice and being able to use your gear and your skills, and you can, if you're crafty and clever, you can figure out some ways to get some extra dice, and you incorporate your progress into it, and then you let all the dice splash, and you don't have to calculate anything, so it's pure dopamine. You wait for the dice to stop rolling, and with the dice that you buy, you don't even have to look for the number 6. You look just for a certain picture, so it's this instantaneous eruption that even feels kind of good when you fail, especially if you have a huge like, I'm sure any of you who have played a Year Zero system, you'll occasionally have like, oh geez, I'm gonna wallop this. I have 9 dice in my pool, and you roll and you don't get a single 6. It's like almost fun. You're like, well, I suck. But more than the games, I appreciate Free League as a company. I've unfortunately had some really, really bad, like stunningly bad customer service interactions, especially with mid-sized to larger game companies. Just like very simple ways that they could have made me like a customer for life. They just chose to save the 7 cents or whatever. Games Workshop, I didn't get an arm of a Vespid Stingwing, a single half-inch arm, weighs less than a quarter ounce, and they would not send it to me. They said that since it was bought through Amazon, that I had to work through them. And I was like, can't you guys just send me it? You already make like 5,000% on every. Nope. And this case is closed. It's stunning. I've spent like $10,000 at that company. I visited their headquarters. On the other hand, you have Free League, who is just a company that proactively um, does the right thing by their customers, goes out of their way. Like I know that Bowl moved on, but even just the people there, like I know the names of the people who send the emails there. When they make their videos, they have people from the company making the videos. Sometimes they have like Thomas Herenstam like actually playing the games. This is the head of the company, and they're just customer service wise, they just bend over backwards for you. And they're super kind, and they make some great games. Um, I don't love all their games, as we'll see here, but I definitely appreciate the vision that they have. They are a company that does not have the highest revenue. They don't have the most popular properties, but they have um, even games you would not expect to be good. Like everyone thought when they got Walking Dead that they were like, are you know, like why'd you pick up this property? And the game, even though it has sort of mixed reception, the game is great. I think the only tragedy of that game ended up being that it seems that the IP is so tight that they can't make anything else for it. So, anyways, I just wanted to say that I really do love Free League, and I know that because they make a sort of quality over quantity type product, because their systems aren't always the crunchiest systems, or they have scaling issues or something. I know that sometimes it could be seen as like the way that Android or like Linux people look at people who are like, I just like the iPhone because it feels good when I scroll, right? Like, I get it. But it does, man. Free League feels good when you scroll. And so, thank you, Free League, and keep up the good work. Okay, so uh, here we have the extant properties to be rated. Over to the right, we have a penalty box and an understandable penalty box. Not really a penalty box, but on the bottom here, let's deal with this first. So these are excluded because they're either board games or, in the case of Zone Wars, a skirmish game. Mutant Year Zero Zone Wars is a really good game. You should try it out if you haven't. It's super easy to set up. It's got a lot of, it has a solo options, uh, and I really hope they keep making these. They made a second box and then just like nothing. So freely like send us a sign with this, because it's a really good game, and I got so excited when they came out with it because I love Mutant Year Zero, and I love like a war game or skirmish game that is you. We set it up the first time and played it within a half an hour, and it comes with like heavy stock terrain and really nice character models and everything, and comes with like the Free League Mutant Year Zero dice and these cards. It's super cool. But we're gonna do tabletop RPGs today. Same with Tales from the Loop, another beautiful board game. Got that around a month ago. The instructions are a little bit. I think they need to spend just a little bit more time on those, but the game itself, again, the assets are remarkable. They have little miniatures as well that you could paint of those like robots from it. And I also have some ideas on the horizon of how I can use some of the assets, such as the rumor cards from that game, in a solo playthrough of Tales from the Loop. And then Crusader Kings, I have no idea what it is. I don't know. It seems like the name of like the archetype of a game that when I see it on Xbox Game Pass, I just don't even give it a 2 seconds. I just keep clicking because it seems like one of those Xbox games. It's like, are you interested in installing a game and then going through a 2 hour tutorial and then toggling your prince's making several marriage No, no, thank you. Um, but anyways, I don't really know anything about it, so maybe it's not that. Additionally, in the penalty box here, we have some games that, for various reasons, we are going to leave out. Now, many of these are very good games, especially in the top row right here. We have Merkborg, Cyborg, Death in Space, Pirate Borg, which may be the best Borg, Into the Odd, amazing game. And these are under the Free League Workshop imprint. And Free League Workshop is really their sort of like it's just a third party content sub license, but some games from it get sort of deputized into like, well, not only are you Free League Workshop, but we'll also sell you on the main website, etc. And with good reason. Again, these are obvious. These are not. These are incredible games. Death in Space, another game that we'd love to see some more from. Please, an adventure, a supplement, something, please. Such a beautiful game, and Merkborg, genre bending, genre changing game. But these are games that are Stockholm Cartel games. Like, they're sold by Free League. I get it. They're under the Free League Workshop, but I wanted to rate games that are from the sort of Free League school of thought or design laboratory. And so these ones were excluded because, yeah, they're more like products of Stockholm Cartel. And then Into the Odd is like Bastionland Press, and he's doing his own thing now with like Mythic Bastionland and Electric Bastionland, etc. So those are excluded. And then the Ruins of Symbaroum and Lord of the Rings are basically, I get it, why Free League does it. I see them as sort of a cynical attempt to capture a segment of the market that doesn't want you. My vote, Free League. I know you're all, the whole company has gone on break to watch this video, and now they're about to all stand up and cheer. Free League, tear down that 5e line. Just stop making these. Redirect your energies. Okay. Yeah, so those like Ruins of Symbaroum is just the 5e derivation of Symbaroum, and then Lord of the Rings role playing is the 5e permutation of the One Ring. And then the two on the right, by the two little Italian men. I don't know enough about those yet, and they're too new. Although I know Outgun's been out for a while, but it hasn't been on my radar. And like the ones above, they're really not in the wheelhouse. So those are going to be excluded. And then from these, we do have a couple that need to go into the quasi para penalty box. And the reason is because I have not played them enough, either solo or group. I have not played them enough to substantiate a rating. I've read them. I have the PDFs, and some of them I actually have the hard copies, but I cannot meaningfully say that I'm able to rate them. Now, it's like, why would you be doing this? Why are you doing this? I can't believe you've done this. Why are you doing this ranking if you haven't done this? Well, I'm going to follow up on this because my goal that emerges from this video is those games that I'm about to put into the para penalty box. We're gonna knock those out over the next few months, and then I'll revisit this after I do that. After I try to solo play it. Right now, I'm working on solo play approach for um, two of them. And those are, first of all, Symbarum, which is, pun intended, a thorn in my side. Oh, good. Okay, one second. Right. So yeah, Symbarum. Man, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm considering just. Well, I shouldn't say that so blank. I freaking love Symbarum's like lore, its art, everything about it is so awesome. It's so dark, perma rain. The factions are all ruthless and awesome. The story is really cool. I mean, I gush about Symbarum like every 3 months on this channel, but the system in it like does not compute for me. It's player facing. You have like two stats that you roll against each other. There's like very unintuitive stats that you roll in combat situations. The combat is imbalanced. They put out a combat balancing sheet for it. Um, it's also like it is such a well formed lore as well that I don't know like where I fit in with it, right? Like I don't know. I know what it's like to try to um, like do a mission in it. I could imagine that because I've read it, but reading alone does not tell you what a tabletop role playing game is actually like. You actually have to play it, and so I just haven't been able to do it. Lord knows I've tried. I've tried on this channel a bunch. I'm gonna give it another push. That's one of the games I've been working on. I've been making tables for it, which I can give you a little preview of. At least I thought I can give you a preview. Oh yeah, here. So yeah, these are just like me generating some quests, encounters. There's three general areas: bright, Davakar, wild, dark. I think I have an idea to do like a solo hex crawl in. It doesn't matter. The point is, I'm working on it, and there is also. I'd actually like. I'd like people to, if they have an opinion on this, let me know what you think about this. But I'm wondering, there is this. There is this. This is a thing. And I must say, this is not like a little flash in the panini here by Soul Angel. This is a 153 page, uh, like permutation of the Symbarum rules mapped onto the Forbidden Lands rules. And if I were to use these, I could even use like the solo rules from Book of Beasts and everything. I could solo this like we could get it going. I could solo this pretty soon. But I'm wondering if there is a strong feeling of people who are like, no, I want to learn how to play Symbarum the way that it was intended. Uh, I don't know if there is because my impression is that people like do not feel like the Symbarum system is. I've never heard a person who's like Symbarum has the best system. I have heard people saying the Symbarum system does not scale correctly. But they did put out balances. So to be honest, um, I don't hear a lot of people talking about Symbarum, and I wish there was more. But at the same time, they do put out a lot of stuff for it. So maybe it's just like not a U.S. thing that is not very popular. I don't know, but I have always really loved it, and the art and everything is just stunning. So, anyways, that one I'm going to have to play. The other one here, well, this one is like on a technicality. This is the original Alien, and this one, like, um, you know, this one's functionally the same game. It's just, I am so glad they updated this. My gosh. This it is so weird. Like I understand this impulse to make these games with the total like well mostly black backgrounds, but you know one of the weirdest thing that this does, this total black background, is like all of the pages blend together. Like you never know where you are or where you saw something in the book. Um, anyways, the new one here, Alien Evolved Edition. Well, first of all, it's like gorgeous, but it's mostly the same, other than it has like a lot of new cool stuff added. So I will be grading this one. This one is not going to be penalty boxed. I played this one before. We'll be rating Alien Evolved. Just a little technicality. Yeah, so technically this one's going to go here. It's not going to go in the orange box because it's like I'm not going to play it. Anyways, okay. Next one that I haven't played, Tales from the Loop and Things from the Flood. Now I have played the Electric State, but this is a different experience. I think that I can play Tales from the Loop and Things from the Flood together. Um, the reason why, and I'll just say the other one that's going on this list for the same reason, is Blade Runner. But I'm gonna play these. I just got Blade Runner finally, just to check out the system and stuff. And what I've my resolution is that I'm not gonna play them as mysteries. I'm just gonna play them. I'm just gonna like see what happens. I'm just gonna solo play them. So I'm actually looking forward to that. I'll probably combine Tales of the Loop and Things from the Flood because literally the only difference is that in Things from the Flood you can die because you're adolescents, or in Tales from the Loop you're a kid, and the stress, like this, you can get scars. The conditions have definitive like -1 to your rolls, and other than that, they're almost completely the same. I have Things from the Flood PDF. The physical copy of it was one of these games that I just saw on my FLGS shelf for like years, and then a few months ago I was like, all right, you know what, I want to get Things from the Flood. I want to check that out just to have it, look at the pictures. I can't find it for love or money. The only place I can find it right now is on the actual Free League website, and I just don't know if I could pay like $86 for a game that I don't really like. Anyways, if anyone knows where I can get Things from the Flood, please let me know. But yeah, so I think I'll do a combo of that. Now, the last one, I'm actually going to rate this one today, but I'm going to play it again on the channel, um, to get an idea of like to try to like get a new experience with it, and that is Twilight 2000. So I am going to rank it because I have played it solo. I just never felt like I was able to break into a stride while playing it. So also, Free League, like I said, awesome. They are sending me Hostile Waters to check out. So I'll check out that supplement. We could also look at the Black Madonna and Urban, what is it? Urban Operations. Yep. And I'm going to try to play it again because I feel now I'm like better at solo playing, better at tabletop role playing games in general, better at using the Year Zero step dice system. And in general, I think I'll be able to do a better job with that. But I will rate it because I feel like I know enough about it. So the last thing is I am going to rate both Coriolis Third Horizon and the Great Dark because even though the Third Horizon has been like discontinued, I I don't think it will. I think that they will make another one day. That's what I have to believe. That is the piece I've come to about that, um, is that they will make another one. But it is a separate game universe. It has similarities, but not as many as you think. So I will rate that one separately. And let us bring these up into the arena. Now, before I do that, I'll just say that the criteria that I have for these is going to be 6 axes: design, aesthetics, art. That'll be the first one. The world building, how immersive is the world? Um, like, have they done a good job like both introducing you to it and situating you firmly in the world for gameplay. Then I'll evaluate the system. If it has its own system, like Dragonbane Symbaroum will evaluate that on its own merits. If it has the year zero system, we're not going to keep evaluating the year zero system over and over. So we'll look at like how it fits, as well as uh, there are really three manifestations of the year zero engine that get used in their games. And one of the questions I'll ask is like, is this the right manifestation of the year zero engine for this game? Acceleration is what I would say is like the 0 to 60 of a game. How long does it take from the point that you sit down with the game to when you feel like you can play it? And I will like what is that? Adjust for complexity. Obviously, not every game has the same expectation there. How solo friendly is it? And seduction. More than friends. Seduction, I think, is a sort of intangible. It might be a distillation of a lot of these things, but I think this is really, it's really a good tell when you first sit with a game and you look through it, or maybe you see somebody play it, or I don't even know, maybe you see it in the store or whatever, like, how much is it on your mind? How much does it call you back to the game? Because if you have been in the hobby for a bit, you probably know that there are games that you read through and you close the book and you go, okay, cool. I'll let you know. Like, it's not always a no, but it's more like I probably am not going to play that game unless somebody invites me to play it, or there's something I learn about the game that gets me a little bit more excited, but it just doesn't do it for me. And then there are games that you're just like, this game blows my mind. I love it so much. I just want to look at it. I just want to be with it. I hope it likes me. I hope we're friends. Are we more than friends? Should I call? I already called today. So yeah, we'll do that for each one. If after hearing about a game here, you decide, wow, that sounds like the game for me, well, you should probably know that Noble Knight Games, sponsor of the Man Alone channel, is having their biggest sale of the year. Below, they have 194 Free League books, games, accessories on sale. And they have over 10,000 products in their whole store that are, or 100,000. My goodness, I was off by a factor of 10. And of course, because it's Noble Knight, not only are you going to have these a wide selection of the Free League games, you're also going to have these like rare, out of print things. If you're a bit of a collector, I bet you didn't even know this existed. Here's the Twilight 2000 core box set from a Kickstarter. Here's the Cyborg core rulebook Nano edition with a holographic front cover. And of course, the one thing that is the most irrational desire that I have in the entire Free League catalog, the Forbidden Lands character sheet pad, which is like half of the size of an A4, with 50 copies of the character sheet, which you can just print out at any time. And why am I considering it once again? Well, because of this sale, and I'll just say what it's on sale for. It's currently on sale for $74, and that's a good deal. And I have, it's just taken everything in me not to buy this, and I'm cracking, and I need help because I don't need I don't need this. But maybe you do. The way that you could help me is you can click the link below, go ahead and pick up this probably one remaining copy of the Forbidden Lands character sheet pads that nobody even knew existed in the entire world, so that I do not have to. If you use the link below, not only will you get access to the sale, you'll also support the Man Alone channel. Thank you, Noble Knight Games. Good luck with your sale. I hope that you sell 99,999 products. And I hope that this one remains there so that I will eventually. All right, back to the ranking. All right, so we're just going to go in alphabetical order. Um, First up, we have Alien Evolved Edition, released 2024, a follow up to, I believe, the 2014 Alien. And I know that most people probably know what Alien is, but for each of these, I'm just going to do like a few sentences of a description or an intro. All right, so uh, Alien is a cinematic sci-fi horror RPG, and it captures a lot of the stuff that the movies franchise as a whole. It has dread, it has body horror, survival, and it is, I'd say, known for three things: stress dice, cinematic play, and high lethality. Now, as far as design, it has improved in nearly every metric, as stated before from the previous edition. Johan Noor was brought in for layout. There is an excellent usage of space and just enough of the sort of Merkborg disrespect for margins that makes certain images really stand out. The pages have like excellent chaotic stuff on some of them, but still manage to have a high level of clarity and readability. It is just head and shoulders above. And I don't want to get too bogged down on like scrolling through each of these because this video, that's what I did last time. The video took forever. But I just want to show you just a few examples here of how the layout of this. In addition, obviously the art is amazing and the illustrations are really really cool, but the layout is just such a home run here. And I think I can actually let me try to open it right. Yeah. So the replacement of this kind of like what they were going for in the 2014 one was this kind of degraded ASCII text terminal green with the black background. They switched now to like, I guess the thing I think of is if anybody used like a Scantron forms when you took tests or whatever in high school or college. Almost everything is the same, other than these fantastic additions, most notably Solo Rules by Sean Tompkin and Matt Click. And a lot of the fantastic art is still here, but as you could see, it just stands out so much better. Here's what I was talking about with like that layout that sort of disrespects the rules of margins, but at the same time just makes it look so vivid, so stark, but it doesn't like intrude on you. It feels both part of the page and an interruption of the page. The way that they set apart the different blocks of text, again, it still keeps that theme, but it just is like, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. It's like easier on the eyes overall. My gosh, what is this terrible song? So in terms of design, that's a definite A. In terms of world building, the job here was to faithfully convey the Alien franchise world, and I think they did that quite competently. I think that there's some level of like fudging it at the margins, I will say, and what I mean by that is sometimes, like when a company is not known for a grimdark property and it has to bring over a grimdark property, it will want to make it seem like a kind of like balanced thing. Like it'll say, "Oh yeah, this thing is really dark and dangerous and terrifying, but it's also like what does it say at one point? The awe of discovery." And it's like, yeah, that's true, but those like awe of discovery moments are only set up as they're like tricks, they're traps, right? They're in almost all of them. Okay, this music is not going well. In almost all of the movies, you have something where it's like, wow, look at this beautiful verdant planet, or like, wow, look at this awesome technology, or like, wow, this massive ship. And then it's like, well, actually, all of that will soon turn to ash in your mouth, because a xenomorph is going to put your hips next to your ears, and unzip your spine. So I do think there are times when it does kind of fudge it a little, but it mostly stays faithful. With the world building, I'd probably give it a B. The system fits. So this is going to use what I would call the mid-level year zero engine. And it is, I'll just cut to the quick. It is possibly the best use of the year zero system. It is, okay. Free League and every other game company, please stop putting this in your book. Please. Could you imagine a video game that's like, hey, let's start off before you play Prince of Persia. Let's just talk about what a video game is, or a TV show. Hey, before we show you this next episode of Seinfeld, why don't we talk a little bit about what a TV? Please stop, please. Anyways, so the system in this does this right here. I would say is the only glaring letdown. The Android is so broken in this game, and like this was the one thing they should have fixed, and they did not. The main mechanic of the game that makes it feel like Alien is the use of stress dice, and it's pretty genius because you have your base dice, and you're looking to hit a 6 like it would on a normal year zero system. But you're also, when you accumulate stress, you're adding stress dice to your pool. And so you could say, those stress dice are just like the base dice. And it's like, wait a minute, why? I actually show you this here. Sorry, I was doing a mini painting today, so my fingers are a little bit. So you have like the base dice, right? And you want to hit the 6. It has this, I think it's like Wayland Yutani thing. And on the base dice, a 1 is a 1. No effect if you roll a 1. Then, for every piece of stress you accumulate, you throw a stress dice in there. You get to add that to your dice pool to roll along with your base dice. And you're looking for your 6s here to give you a success. Now, the issue is, though, that just like on the base dice, the stress dice has a 6, but on 1, it's a face hugger. And so essentially, this is going to increase your performance, your chance to, it basically models the actual stress response, right? There's like distress and eustress. So eustress is that productive stress. Your sympathetic nervous system is kicking in. You are having these enhanced autonomic responses. Your blood is pumping. Muscles are being oxygenated. Fast twitch muscles are firing. You have meiosis of the pupils that are sort of narrowing, zeroing in on your field of vision. You are making better use of oxygen. All of your blood is being rerouted from your bowel and bladder. That's why people piss themselves when they're scared. And so you're performing better, but also to a point, right? Because if you keep going, you're going to get to what? A panic attack. And that's exactly what happens in this game, is that you accumulate this stress and you feel it. You feel it because and you will go on these tears because you have so many dice, and you're like, okay, we're making it. We're going to make it. We're actually going to make it to the escape pod or whatever. And then all of a sudden it all falls apart. The issue with the Android is they don't make panic rolls, and they don't suffer stress. And that is inexplicable. Now I get it, but they should have replaced it with something else, like fatigue or mechanical, uh, degradation or something, because, or like sociopathy, because all of the androids are sociopaths in these movies. But they also recommend you use the Android for solo play, which is another like head scratcher of like, no, that's like, we want to experience Alien. We don't want to experience Alien without Alien. They also add a mechanic in this, or refine the mechanic for stealth. It is so good. Uh, the like creeping across an open room, you have the choice to just gun it and run or to try and sneak. And when you do that, you're like rolling one square of movement at a time, trying for a xenomorph to not see you. It's so perfect. The other mechanical thing in this game is cinematic mode allows you to set up these one shots that are like a movie. They follow the track of rising action, um, conflict, everything that a one shot should have, but they're just like better mapped to it. And like I said, I'm very excited to see their starter set is a cinematic starter set. I think it's going to be fantastic. Solo rules again might be the best solo rules so far. Um, they don't have uh, all of the bells and whistles that maybe Forbidden Lands does with Book of Beasts, but good God, it is. I think. Let me check the pages here. Yeah, the way they lay out like these flowcharts with these sequences is so good. This is the stealth sequence. There's a simplified stealth sequence, but it's like you can move one zone. And what's cool about this too is that the GM has a hidden map, so you don't even know where the xenomorphs are. Like you're just kind of like you're playing like Minesweeper with your life. And there's also ones for crawl spaces. So if you're like an event, oh, it's so cool. I did a video on this. You should definitely check it out to see how that might go because I actually used a little board game board from was it Gale Force Nine's Alien game, Another Glorious Day in the Core. So uh, solo mode. Yeah, here's just like a sample of the mental trauma you could sustain and the panic. You could start acting super irrationally. Go anything from like, all right, keep cool, and you add your stress level, you subtract your resolve, which I think is a really great mapping to it. But you can go all the way to just being catatonic. You're doomed. Um, Fantastic system. Life path system, awesome, awesome, awesome. I recently used a life path system that was one of the best life path. Oh yeah, for Doom Song was amazing, but this definitely holds its own. A good life path system should feel kind of like a mini game. This one's not the best ever, but it's good. It's good. I would give it like a B plus. What's cool about it too is it's like admission or hiring to the Weyland-Yutani company. So you're hired, you get a salary, you get a clearance, etc. And then these career skills that you could have based on like your minimum requirements. Oh, guys, I get like jazzed every time I look through this. So this is Last Survivor. This is the solo rules. 16 pages of solo rules. All right. And they do say here a brief and brutal story. I don't agree with that. I think that the way they set it up here, you can play a campaign with this. You could play a campaign, especially because you're getting like a salary and stuff like that. Totally. Yeah, you might have to like leap from ship to ship or scenario to scenario, whatever. They have mission starters. They have multiple mission starters, like 5 or 6 for each of these different archetypes: the space trucker, colonial marine, company rep, frontier colonist. Yeah, some of them aren't going to work. Danger level. Then you have these the mother analysis and answer matrices. This is so good. This is like a an oracle the likes of which you have not seen before in any free league game. It really does feel like it's just like printing out of a dot matrix printer. You have tons of generative oracles here: section matrix, access matrix, environment, salvage, anomalous environment, stress and panic is bespoke for solo, has their own tables for it to keep you in play. Danger timers, and these timers advance as you're getting chased. Survivor timer, overall timer, objective timers, these work so well. Stealth encounters, they port that excellently for solo. It's awesome. It's totally awesome, and it's just like they put time into this. That's another reason I love Free League. They really support the solo stuff here. It's not just token sort of like, oh yeah, you could solo play. Roll a 6, it's yes, and a 1 is no. Um, so yeah, solo friendly A. And the last thing, seduction, very high for that as well. This game, like as you could probably see, I am so thrilled about it. If I were to say, just to give a balanced view of it, the one thing I don't necessarily think it's a miss. I think that it's something that, and maybe you guys have a different impression of this, but they waste a lot of time in this book on something that isn't part of Alien to me. And I'll show you what it is. Oh, salivation. Ooh, that egg on the left looks yummy. I wonder what flavor that is. All right, so a lot of stuff on like planetfall, creating star systems. I think this is great. Um, no, that's not like a huge part of the movie unless you're like a real fan. You don't come away knowing about like the Tartarus sector and stuff like that. But building better worlds was a supplement. Um, Good stuff, right? We want to be able to build out this so that we can play in it for a while. We don't just want one like, don't let them freak you out, and then a big fight and it's over. Unless you're playing cinematics. So this I understand. I also understand like expeditions, dropships, boarding, all of that stuff. But the one thing that is weird to me, all right, from page 121 all the way to, I believe, 151. Yeah, to page 151. The last 20 of those pages being all about ship combat. So 30 pages on ships and 20 on ship combat. Friends, there are no ship to ship firefights across all mainline Alien films. Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Prometheus, Alien Covenant. There is never a scene where two spacecraft exchange weapon fire. The Nostromo has no like weapon loadouts even shown. What is the one in Aliens? The Sulaco. It is like a military vessel, but it's just because it has troops in there. It never fires a shot on screen. I don't really know about the Prometheus and Covenant, but the franchise like avoids space war. It's industrial, it's corporate, it's Cold War paranoia. It's not pulp sci-fi dogfights. So having 20 pages on this in the middle, the dead middle of the book, is so strange to me because it's like, and I am biased. I dislike ship combat. It is like my least. I dislike any vehicle combat, but like ship combat where it's like, okay, now we're gonna turn around 3 days later. We've turned up. We got blown up. It's just it's a very strange slog um, in the middle of it. And it's very mechanically heavy too. It's not bad as a subsystem, but it's slow and it's just like hard to narratively justify. So there, I would take some points off. All that said, I think a profound success here. And yes, right off the bat, friends, just so that you don't take any of these rankings seriously, I'm gonna do it. That's right. As a true homer, I'm going to put it in A. And the reason why is it is still an untested property. We need to see how it builds out. We need to see how it expands. We need to see if it maintains this, if we're just flying on fumes. I have played with Builder of Worlds. I've never tried that Destroyer of Worlds or Building Better Worlds. I've never done the Destroyer of Worlds, so I'm not sure about that. But I think that we have to exercise some caution with franchise games simply because I think they tend to lose steam, and so we'll see. It give you something to work for. Definitely an outstanding game, and I'm thinking this is going to finally earn its top spot because if you do a cursory search of Free League games, Alien probably has the most pops just because of recognition. And that's saying something because they also have Lord of the Rings. It's just that I think some people don't associate Lord of the Rings with like tabletop RPG. And the One Ring is a little interesting. We'll talk about it. Okay. Coriolis the Great Dark. I initially had a lot of misgivings about this. I still maintain some level of misgivings. I don't feel like fanboy betrayed or anything like that. But I guess let's start at the top. So maybe it'd be better for me to do Third Horizon first. Yeah, I guess let me do Third Horizon first. All right, so Coriolis, Third Horizon, 2017. It's a space opera. It's a space opera that has a lot of unique aspects to it. It goes against form. It is built in a sort of Eastern, Middle Eastern paradigm rather than the classic Western notion of what these are usually like. Even like it is so good at displaying the cultural heritage of the game that it kind of shows you how much Dune is really just a Western influenced sci-fi thing that just has like the outside dressings of something that is different. But this game really is. I mean, everything. It's not just like the food and the clothes. It is that stuff. It's like the entire paradigm. I think I could do a whole video. I may have done a whole video on it. Just the storytelling, the way that relationships and customs are held. The whole thing felt so special. Like I was truly entering into unique territory. And it had a lot of focus on mysticism, cultural tensions, had a lot of cool theological cosmic horror, and the phrase that is used very often, and I think it does a fine job of summoning up the right picture, is Arabian Nights in space. It had a lot of factional intrigue, very, very deep world building, very distinctive, strong cultural flavor. There is a year zero engine in it. It's middle to high. It's not step dice system, but you are going to have base dice, skill dice, and gear dice. Um, and it was engineered towards having long campaigns that are very lore heavy. So it's definitely very enjoyed by groups who love. I'll tell you what, it's great for groups where your players and the GM are interested in like reading the backstory and really immersing into it. If you have a special group that like rotates GMs, um, and there was rising tension with the faction clocks. There was some stuff sometimes that it was hard to like get the adventures to go off the way that they were imagined to go off, because players are going to do what they're going to do, and you have like a lot of these moving pieces. And when I was GMing it, I noticed sometimes I'd be like, oh, this major thing happened and it no longer has anything to do with the characters, so I even talk about it. um but yeah, very rich, heavily stylized sci-fi. Design wise, good. I would give it probably a so the art, like the actual illustrations, excellent. The layout suffered from a lot of the same stuff that the 2014, I think it's 2014. Am I making that up? The first Alien. Let me look that up. I might just be making up 2014. Holy Toledo. Well, I got the first three numbers right. This is 2019. I don't know where the hell that 2014 came from. I don't even know if Free League was around. Yeah, so it has, I would say, a lot of the same kind of design influence, very chunky, blocky, like this is a computer terminal interface. The book is massive, and the text is very, very dense. Um, and it also has like the actual illustrations are breathtaking. I mean, you just see just from like the front here, and then you have some like diagram things that are just like, wow, huh, that's what I'm getting here. I think like the weapons pages. There is a YouTube video that I watched years ago, and I always look for it, where they're paging through this, and there are two guys, and one of them is very serious, and the other guy goes, "Hey, is that lady flying with like a poop cannon out of her butt?" And the other guy's like, "What?" He's like, "I don't know. It looks like a poop cannon." And the guy's like, I don't see that. He's like, it's like a poop cannon. And the guy's like, I don't know what you mean. And he just moves on. But like, that's clearly, we're not rating the poop cannons. Yeah. I mean, just these moments where you're like, yeah, I guess illustrations cost a lot. It's like this, and I get it. They were, and then you have this. And so it's like, it's just, it's a bit of whiplash from time to time, but you could see what I'm talking about as well. This, it's just so noticeably from a different era. But then you have these. Is this Martin Grip? It has to be. No, Christian Graneth, Martin Bergstrom. Great team. The Pantheon of Gods gave this a texture. The Church of the Icons gave this such like an awesome mystical science meets religion meets art meets culture feeling. It was super immersive. However, it needs to be said, it was too much. It's too much. It was too ambitious. There were like 6 campaigns, or 6 parts to it, and it was something that I bet a lot of people ended up. I couldn't do it. I had to say to the group I was with, I was like, I don't have time. Like in my life right now, I didn't have time to do this. We tried to switch to Mutant Year Zero, but people kind of. It's sad because people were really into it, but just the amount of preparation it took. I was getting I was finishing on my doctorate at the time, and I was just like, I don't have it in me, and so. Uh, yeah, it's a great game. It's a great it's a great lore. It's a good game. It does grow a little thin in places. I think that the Year Zero system probably give it like a B in its application to it. Its acceleration is probably a D. Its solo friendliness is a C or a D. It's not as exclusionary as like maybe the investigation games, but it's tough. It would be tough to solo just in terms of balancing and everything. I don't think the game as it is balanced. It was tough. I remember GMing as well, just having a lot of combat that I had to sort of like retro scale because it was just impossible. Just like 6 soldiers like running out at you in the first level. Definitely has a high level of seduction for the right kind of person. Um, and so yeah, it's hard to say this because I do have like a lot of love for this game, but I think we're gonna do a C level. See, I feel this is hard. This is really hard because I really thought that it was a bad move to move away from the third horizon. I do, but let's talk about Coriolis the Great Dark. Talked about how Third Horizon was undeniably too dense, too much, and the Great Dark is undeniably a smooth system. I have solo played it 3 times now. It's very good. It does not have the depth, but that was probably a target. That was definitely a targeted decision to make it more accessible to people. Um, I do think it was a mistake to completely divorce the story from the first one. That is still like really troubling to me. It's not like here's what happened afterwards or here's what happened. The story continues. A little seed of the last story finds new life in a new. This game makes it so that like the last game is just gone. Um, they move to a new horizon. It is 150 years in the future, and like the stuff that happened in the first game is seen as history, mythology. The religious components of the game, um, which I fear were shaved down for like to give a more broad appeal to the game. But that's just also I think not a good like if you look at Warhammer, this is one of the best 40K has one of the best cosmologies of any game. It is one of the best depictions of like the Garden of Earthly Delights and a Miltonian downfall and everything, and it was made by a bunch of atheists. I think people like these cosmic stories no matter what, but um, it does. There are still people from the first game, like their legacy of it, and they're seen as sort of like religious zealots that nobody should take seriously. So that's tough. Like just because I was so attached to the story and to the world building, and I think they built up so much, they had so much capital, and they jettisoned a lot of it. They're the sort of Middle Eastern cultural effects to it have in many places dimmed, in some places completely gone away. And I also worry that was like in a bid to not offend. Um, but it's kind of bland in that way. And so in terms of world building, I don't get the choices. Like there's this Garuda, and maybe I need to learn more about it. There's going to be adventures of it. Right now, it's just this mysterious bird that wakes up when you get to this new horizon and follows you around and has magical properties. But um, as of right now, it's a bit thin in terms of world building. Probably give it a C. That's generous. Its design, I think it does the same things as the first game. I think it's competent. Nothing stands out. It's a lot cleaner, but I think it's just sort of like moved forward naturally with the sort of best practices of the times. So there's also this odd sort of mismatch where the game is like a very blue collar type game. You are part of this group that's going to basically look into these um, different portals that you're basically part of like a mining company for the most part, and you're going deep into these rocks, which is cool. But you look at the front cover here and you're like, whoa, what sort of like epic web is being unfurled here? What is this cosmic mystery that I'm at the center of? And then you play the game and you're like, all right, time to clock in, 9 to 5, right? Again, we'll see. The art is good, but it does have like a little bit of, so far, a little bit of a mismatch in terms of. Let me see here. What does this remind you of right here? Does that remind you of something familiar, like a familiar picture that maybe a lot of people recognize? Um, yeah. So I mean, it's definitely awesome stuff, and they have a lot more assets now, and so they're able to make. Um, you know what? Actually, I take it back about the design. Um, the font, and I believe this is like a gold, actually works well. So another reason I'm untrustworthy, and these reviews don't mean anything. I just reverse what I say. But I have to say, it's a bold choice to do this kind of background. But I think they may have, well, not. Yeah, I mean this is good. And then the alterations too. It looks clean. Um, this would look bland if the whole book was like this, but you have these intermittent, um, yeah, the archetypes in this game. Like, is this what you want to play? I can't wait to get home from my boring job and then become a house painter. It's just interesting. It's very interesting. Um, yeah, I think actually they may have pulled it off. This is a really really nice, very clear um, juxtaposition of color as far as I can see. I mean, I do have color vision problems, so I'm not the best judge of these things, but it looks very readable to me. I do like these little sigils and stuff like that. Solo wise, it does have solo rules. The solo rules are good. You're getting a nice spread on those, and I just wish in both this Alien Dragonbane, they always sort of box in the solo rules, so to say. Um, you're in Deep Fall Breach, or you're going to play this little cinematic thing in Alien. And here, they do give you this like webway. Hard to explain. It's a red garden that has all these doors, which I think was like a clever mechanic to allow you to have a bunch of different options and stuff. But I wish, and this isn't actually a weakness because it isn't like they posited. There's somebody there that feels like a solo experience has to be smaller, that it has to be contained. It doesn't it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. And like I think they're worried like, well, how will we justify having like the larger campaign, you know, if it's just one person. It's like we'll find a way, man. We like we could solo the Three Musketeers, the Musketeer. So I'm gonna say for Coriolis Great Dark. Oof, this kills me. Yeah, we got to do it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put it here. It's it's. I mean, yeah. See, it's like if I don't. Okay, so right now in my head, I'll just tell you that I'm like, wow, you made this big stink about it. You even like wrote a Substack article about like this choice that they made and how they should have stayed on it. But I played the game and it's good. And so if I sort of protect my own ego or my own like try to make myself I would rather be dumb than a hypocrite. I'd rather be dumb than a hypocrite. And but we also still need to see this it like Alien Evolved we'll have to figure it out. All right. So those out of the way, we're gonna move a little bit faster now. We're gonna slow down probably for two of these that I see, but I want to press on the gas a little bit just because Dragonbane is next, and if I'm not careful, I could do 2 hours. Actually, I could do 2 nights and 3 weekends on Dragonbane if I was so inclined. So, Dragonbane is an absolutely beautiful, gorgeous experience of a game. It is it is the game that showed me that I could like fantasy games. It is a game that showed me that you can have fun in a game even if it's not dead serious. It showed me that serious stakes could live alongside like uh, blowing smoke rings in a shire. I always like um, I always felt a bit discordant with people because I always felt like Lord of the Rings would have been better without like hobbits. I felt like the hobbits belonged in the Hobbit, right? Because I read the Hobbit first as a kid. And when I was reading it growing up, I was like, get these like little nerds out of here. Like I want to see the Strider. I want to see you know showdowns. I want to see Gandalf cast like level 5 summon Ifrit or whatever. And I got these little wieners like running around the back asking for breakfast and stuff. Just get out of the way, you little morons. And of course, like as I guess paradoxically, as I grew older and I matured and I understood the place that they had in the story, the anchoring that they had, the actual inspiration that it is to see a person who has a reluctance to heroism taking on the ultimate costs and doing the thing that they're afraid of, which I see as the actual work of life, is like doing that thing that you are afraid of. I obviously appreciated it on a much deeper level, but I still maintain that reaction to silliness or to the kind of uh, stories that involved like 6 minute diatribes on muffins or something like that. I grew up in the 80s. I grew up with Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. I wanted to see things explode. I wanted Conan the Barbarian to, or at least Conan the Librarian, to just decimate their foes. And I won't say the exact quote from Conan, but I love the ultimate badass, and I still love that. But the ultimate badass can tell one good story, and then we have a problem. I mean, I know that John Wick is sort of an untouchable property, like bacon is for bearded guys. But the first John Wick was what a breath of fresh air. The second one was fine. You know, I like that there was a new property that wasn't associated with anything. And I think that the recent ones are good, but I just think like we're still telling this story. I mean, now what? It's like, well, now they killed his gerbil, and it's like, okay, well, it's a gerbil. They have like a 6 month, but I think that when you have a diversity of character subtypes, you are able to create a sprawling story that you create a universe that you don't only adventure in, you can live in it. The world building for Dragonbane is an A, plain and sample. The design of Dragonbane is an A. I have framed the maps. They are up on my walls. They are utterly beautiful. Another thing that I fantasize about, in addition to, like, these ones are not preposterous to want them, but the price of them is quite high just because there's not many available. But the Dragonbane Kickstarter, of which I was not yet like aware of Dragonbane, there was cloth maps available, and they are stunning. But they are very expensive now. But they are on sale at nobleknight.com. It's only about $325. And the system. I think the system is fine. It's a D20 system. And I know that there is a variety of opinions about the advancement in Dragonbane and how some people take to it very well. And other people feel that the leveling is something between awkward to pedantic to pointless to just not fun to perfect, because I think the trappings of this game on first glance, you see a mallard character, you could think, oh, this is kind of a fun, cutesy game. This game is deadly as hell. And so it is like the level system is a bit unintuitive. It's limited. There are caps on things. And the whole thing about like you have to learn a spell you have to train with them, and that's a model that I just don't think a lot of players now are interested in. This is unrelated to this one specifically, but if we're talking about world building, I am concerned as well about the next ones that are coming out. We haven't even delivered the like the new magic book that is coming out. I forgot what it's called. I did back it. Right, it's Arcand in the Book of Magic, and again, I'm very quick to formulate opinions, and unlike the ones expressed in this video, my initial opinions can sometimes be fraught, and they released Trudvang, which is it's a very beautiful design, but it's like they hadn't even fulfilled the Arcand and Book of Magic yet, and I thought they were creating a new Dragonbane. But here's the thing, and I mean, I guess this is a testament to Free League. It's like an adventure. You need the Free League Dragonbane core book to play it. And again, like Dragonbane, it's a throwback to some other game or world that I was not familiar with. And it is 4 books, which is sort of astounding. And I was like, oh, okay, so is this like a total reset of Dragonbane as well? Because I was thinking it was going to be like Coriolis. The thing is that if you look at almost any other game company, there are things like this all the time, right? I mean, obviously, like D&D, you have Planescape, you have all of these different worlds and additions and continuities and stuff like that. And I'm not even saying that this Trudvang is, like a Marvel multiverse or anything. I'm just saying it's a different product line. It might even be just a one-off or whatever. I'm so used to Free League having a consistent product, like something that is visually consistent, something that is very obviously like, even though the Arcane and Book of Magic have a different background color, they are just immediately recognizable as Dragonbane books. So yeah, it's the font, the presentation, the alignment, the type of illustrations. Obviously, Mallard gives it away, but still. And how about props for making a duck look badass? But yeah, even the skeletons at the bottom of the Book of Magic, it's just very clear that art style is very coherent. So when I see Trudvang, and I'm like, the hell is this? Isn't that the guy from Neverending Story that eats boulders and is annoyed because there's not enough fiber in him or whatever? It looks like this kind of Fraggle Rock labyrinth sort of claymation thing, and it looks cool, right? But I look at the script and everything, and I'm like, this isn't Dragonbane. What is this, right? And then of course you have just people. I don't understand how people do it, but there's some people that is just like immediately they're like, yeah, finally Trudvang, and I'm like, what the hell is Trud? Like, I don't know if it is it Trudvang. And so, I understand more what it is now, but the fear is, and this is by no means worthy of this fear, but the fear is always, I think, when you have affinity towards a company, and especially when that company produces artistic products of taste, products of preference, right? I mean, I suppose the same could be said for cherry cola. Maybe people felt this way when they got rid of that like red and black basketball mesh net can from 1998 or whatever. But I just worry whenever things like this where I'm like, I just don't want Free League to become any other game company. And if they did, that's fine because it's a company and it's not like it's, my alma mater. That really wouldn't matter either, but it's just a game, it's just a company, but it's I think Free League has a really good thing going, and they do make decisions sometimes where I think that they, and this is obviously an outside, completely uninformed perspective, but they like it's like they almost don't have the self-esteem that they should sometimes, with like the 5e Symbaroum. It's like, you don't got to do that. You're good enough as you are. Although that system might be a little bit. Anyways, so for Dragonbane, I would say, boy, solo play, Deepfall Breach obviously inspired me and Druidic Habit to write up a 50-page solo adventure for that, which thank you, Rayun, for reminding me certain parts of that are kind of hilarious that I forgot about putting in the hugging circle. But yeah, I mean, that was a real game changer. This game was a fundamental turning point in role playing games. The art is great. I think for where it was at in the lineage of solo modules for Free League games, it was also groundbreaking. It had its own thing. And yeah, it was just like 8 pages laminated, but they did it. Like they got Sean Tompkin to do it. And I've probably soloed Dragonbane Maybe Starforge be the only one I've soloed more than that, but it was incredible. And so I say that acceleration probably a B plus on that. I I don't know. Like, there's part of me that's been wanting to say I wish it was a year zero system, but it's not. It's not that. So, um, this is a tough one too. But I think I have to go with my gut here. I just ate a fifth of pot roast. Dare me to drive? I'm doing it. S tier. Dragonbane is S tier. Fight moi. All right. Electric State. Unproven. The movie apparently was abysmal. And I feel actually like a little bit colder on Electric State once I knew that the movie was coming out at the same time. Um, it is a very minimalist book. And so I'm never able to decide if that is a design choice or if it's a minimalist game. Um, and also it only appears that way. Like the character sheet being minimal doesn't mean that the whole game is that way. Um, Everything feels sort of diet in Electric State. It feels like a diet game. The dice system is uh, very pared down. Not as pared down as Tales from the Loop, which has just like one type of dice. It does have. I'm trying to think of which ones it has. I almost wish that I had put a category in here for like bits and bobs or goodies, like treats that you get with it, but I think that would be distracting. But like I do love the dice for this. If I can find one here. Oh yeah. Obviously some shared DNA. Here's Electric State, Tales from the Loop. If you look at the front cover, this is Things from the Flood. So yeah, there's some sort of artistic preoccupation here that's very cool. Even the front cover of Things from the Flood, I think, is sort of different, but also it like rhymes. So we have Tales from the Loop, just a sort of Things from the Flood is just strawberry flavored. Has that little like crown that I think that's the company, right? So those are very much the same. And then Electric State definitely takes a sharp turn, but has two dice types, and they're more minimal. They kind of look like circuit boards. And, of course, nothing says you messed up. Yeah, but this is like like, what a choice here. You know, I almost like admire it. It has to be intentional, but it's so minimal. Um, I think that the setup of the game is I think this is one of the best solo games to start with because it is literally linear. You're like on a road trip, you move forward, there's very specific points along the way. Yeah, look at that there. It's wild, man. You're going to be in Pacifica and the system. Yeah, so it's base dice and gear dice. The base dice has the Sentry or center logo for success, the sad face for lost hope, and then the gear dice have a kapow symbol on the one side to show damage. And they have no skills, but they do have like this diversified pool of talents, which I think is again something that I initially was like, oh, this is not good, and then once I used it more, I was like, no, it's kind of like hyper specific skill usage, and I think it fits for a game like this too. Lots of 90s what is it, reminiscencia, the archetypes. Obviously the images are fantastic. There is the addition of the vehicle, and there is solo rules here. They are pretty good. Um, the solo or the entire campaign structure is creating like stops. You're going to be driving and you're stopping. And so if you're somebody who is intimidated by the idea of just like creating a whole campaign, do this. Just drive. Lots of nice tables here to fill in the details, different conflicts here. A big part of it is just conflict. Conflict is one of the easiest ways to generate plot. It can also like create cyclical, very boring plots after a while, but good way to sort of spark things. And the solo rules also fit well with this. Like I said, it's a good way in. And yeah, we really do. Yeah, so this is the lone traveler. Gosh, what a stark image here. So how many pages is the lone traveler? So we have 206. Oh, not bad. NPC, emotional states, NPC motives, traveler events, conversations, and tilts. That's right, tilts. Yeah, and you use a playing card system here to indicate that something is, good or bad. So like that you've had bad luck or good luck for the traveler. And so yeah, it's about 12 pages. Pretty good. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, I think this is middle of the road kind of thing. Obviously, we'll see. The Tales from the Loop had a lot of, not a lot, but at least like 3 adventures. There was like they grow up so fast, and then it seemed like we had Things from the Flood, which was like a sequel, and then we had Electric State. So I don't know what the model is going to be with this, and I don't know what kind of momentum there is. Like if Simon Stålenhag is going to, he's has obviously a really great relationship with Free League, so we'll see. But I'm not aware of other properties that are just like aching to be made into games, so we'll see. But for now, I think it's obvious what we got to give this. Man, this is killing me. I don't know if I can do this. So I'm putting this above Third Horizon? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. See, this is always happens. Like as you add more. Nah, I gotta stick to it. All right. Next up we have Forbidden Lands. Uh, Forbidden Lands is so freaking good. It is so good. It is such an excellent game. I need Free League to make 75 adventures. I need them to write 400 new characters. Like, it is so good. The whole thing is so good. The solo rules, initially, solo ability would have been quite low. But with Book of Beasts, you have about 8 pages of solo rules that bump it up. And then also, who was it? Not, I forgot who. Three Skulls Tavern. I forget his name though, but also released like the extended cut of the solo rules, and there is also the Castles and Strongholds or something like that for this. That just kind of blows it through the roof in terms of solo possibility. The game is, when I was on the fence about it, because I originally got Dragonbane, and people were like, "Oh, you gotta do Forbidden Lands," or I would say, "What's up with this Forbidden Lands?" And they say, "Oh, it's like Dragonbane, but with like year zero." And part of me does kind of like, part of me felt like that was a bummer for some reason. And then when I played it, I was like, no, this is true. This is how it is. And I sort of feel that that's not a bad thing. It has the step dice system. It makes amazing use of the dice. It has we are not rating the goodies and stuff that comes with it, but that is one area that I have a bit of a grievance, that you buy this $60 starter set. A starter set should have everything, and I think they splurged on the like faux leather books because it had no dice. And the dice, in order to have enough dice to play, you have to buy like two sets of them. And because they're not being made that much anymore, um, they're quite expensive. I would say at this point, don't get them. Like just use a set of D6s, D2, because you're really gonna be mostly using D6s. The other ones are gonna be artifact dice that are more rare. Um, that said, that's not under consideration right now. Design is a little bit weak. I will say that I like it. I like the cards that they have for it. The box art is really nice. The pages themselves, black and white, pretty boring. Nice layout, but yeah, pretty boring. And also, it has that thing where it's quite confusing. Like if you are looking at the GM guide and the player's guide are like the same cover, unless you get the like leather books. Uh, Really nice art like this, but it's all black and white. It's hard for me to hold this against it, but it's also hard for me to say that it's on the same level as something like Dragonbane. Um, it is a great story, and it's probably, uh, I would say, even more than the Misty Veil. It is just a really, really well developed world. The factions are clearer. Dragonbane, the factions sort of break down by kin. Here you have these factions that are motivated in certain ways. They're not as complex as, say, Coriolis. They come together really well. The expansions are great. The maps are great. The cards are great. The horses, you get all these different steeds. They're really cool. Um, it has options for complexity. Here's the stronghold. The stronghold is one of the best mechanics. It, again, initially not fully developed, more like a fudge system. Well, not exactly fudge. I'm not talking about fudge dice, but it is more of a system where it's like, yeah, whatever you want to do with it. But over time, with supplements, not by Free League, but by others, they've it's come more into focus in terms of stronghold management. But yes, truly, if you're a person who has a hard time reading, like if you're a person that starts reading a book and you fall asleep, this is going to be a tough game for you because it's organized like a book, like a textbook from 1951. It's just this, and it'll occasionally have pictures and stuff, but yeah, it's just that. So I would probably give the design a B minus. The world building B plus to A. The system I think is really really good. I think it's really really good, and it's a great usage of the step dice system. I need to play Twilight 2000 again to compare it to that, but that was something when I played Twilight 2000 that really got me quite. I just wasn't used to it. I was quite flustered, so I didn't feel that way, and I don't know if that's just because I was more experienced or what. Acceleration wise, I'd say it's probably pretty slow, especially if you're not used to playing these large campaign games. If you have a good GM, you could probably get up and kicking pretty fast because one of the things that this game does well is like assigns roles to everyone in the party. And when it comes down to it, whether you're like a lookout, whether you're hunting, whether whatever, you're really just like testing, doing a skill test and seeing how well you could contribute to the party. I think that's another area that is just fantastic, in terms of making it so everybody can contribute, not just in combat. You know what? I have been sort of lacking in describing these things. So let me just say two things. Three. Dragonbane is a modern revival of Drakar ak Demoner, and that was like the D&D in Sweden. It's fast, it's flexible, it's fantasy adventure. I wrote that baby. What do you think? Pretty good, right? But yeah, it's also light, breezy. I said cinematic fantasy design. Pretty fun first. Whereas Forbidden Lands, I'd say that that is a interestingly like a dark fantasy, post-apocalyptic fantasy, and more of a focus on hex crawling, exploration, domain establishment, and play. It's Forbidden Lands is explicitly for sandbox play. Very strong procedures, but it's got a lot of good seriousness to it. It's atmospheric. There's not a lot of hand holding. Really robust resource travel survival mechanics, and I think has a way higher replayability as compared to Dragonbane from a campaign perspective. Because I think once you kind of see what's going on with the Drakars and the Demoners, you probably are like, okay, can't wait for the next campaign. Whereas every time I play Forbidden Lands, I'm like, what can I do next? What's going on? What should I do? Because it's just open ended. So yeah, very stark, gritty, moody. So what do I give it? Oh, and Electric State. I wrote a melancholic, surreal road trip RPG based on Stalinhog's art, focused on intimate stories of connection or tension in a dying landscape. Coriolis really down there, huh? What does this feel like? What if I went like that? What if I went like that? Electric State, but I don't. Okay, Forbidden Lands is an A. It's got to be an A. Come on, I think everyone agrees with me there, right? Like, put your hands up in the air like you just don't care. All right, next up, Mutant Year Zero. This surprises people, so hold on to your seats. Mutant Year Zero is my favorite Free League game, and I sometimes marvel at how it is that this game that I consider to be their hallmark game, it is like the birthplace of the Year Zero engine. It has so many supplements. It has so much fun replayability. It is has such a fun cast of characters. It's fun. It's deadly. It's funny. It's touching at moments. You're like these group of mutated outcasts living in this wasteland where you don't really know what happened but there was this world before, and you get to see the world we live in now, as in like IRL us, through the eyes of somebody who comes afterwards and doesn't understand it, and so finds like our toasters and thinks that they are mythical engines that have like these heating coils. Maybe it's a weapon. Maybe it's to dry off your hands, and it just has so much material. The system works so well. It's so fun just like traveling around the wastelands, finding junk. The arc system is a stronghold system that is not only do you have like a good stronghold rep that's pretty simple, it has these graduated projects that you could do. Your arc grows, your possibilities grow, the upgrades you have grow, the weapons you can have, the repairs you can have. The story unfurls. It's super fascinating. And I just don't hear anyone playing it. This game should be like top of the pops, man. But design. I would say that the design is very good. It is not a sort of like stunning design that we see with other things, but it really is at its best in these sort of like cartoon pieces. These are really, really interesting because it sits somewhere between painted art and comic art, but it uses great chiaroscuro, and it really is the chiaroscuro is really the proper way to see this game. In that you do have, uh, your main character's a warthog. You developed wings that shoot out of your back, but only one of them flies. You have these random mutations. Everyone is sort of naive, but at the same time, there are super meaningful moments because you are outcasts, or you were rejected, or you don't know, but like nobody cared about you. And there is a certain type of um, fraternity that comes from that is really powerful. It comes through in play. I wish I would have been able to keep my group interested in it because I thought it was great. The system is, I think, in the base game a little bit wonky. I think it's improved a little bit in Gen Lab Alpha, which I think is safe to say is like a part two of the game. Whereas the other, like Ad Astra, Elysium, those are sort of supplements. Gen Lab Alpha feels like a full other rendition of the game. Has excellent cards. There's packs of cards for every single one that has different random mutations and different junk that you could find. The weapons are really fun. But it does seem arbitrary at times. The mutation system seems arbitrary at times. And perhaps on a long enough timeline, it could feel repetitive if you don't change up the place that you're in or the zone that you're in. But there were a lot of mini supplements released as well that opened up the world even more. So, say that you start in like Manhattan and you played a campaign of that for a year. You probably are like, okay, I've been in every hex here or every square. I'm tired of this. Well, they have like the deep blue ocean or whatever where you can go take to the water. They have Elysium, which is like this above the clouds colony for the rich that replaces the mutation system with like an intrigue system. You have Ad Astra, which goes to space. So it really is kind of like it's like scratches the same itch as Fallout without being a Fallout ripoff. It uses the mid-level year zero system. I think it's pretty straightforward. And best part, you're able to like decorate your bedroom. You know, who doesn't want to put up some posters and stuff? And again, the arc is a very, very compelling loop of play. Um, I tried to write up a solo version of this, and I think I still can because the whole game was based around this archetype, the dog handler, and it was about having the dog be this companion and stuff. But my vision got too big, and I started saying, well, why just the dog handler? There should be another specialty, and then the arc, and then how do we recalculate the points for that and all this stuff. And I kind of fizzled out on it. But I imagine I will release this at some point because I think that just exploring the zone, it's something that is wide open for solo play. I desperately hope that Free League comes back to this, and I really, really hope that they do put out solo rules for this. There are not solo rules included in this, but I say for a game without solo rules, it's very easy to imagine what the solo rules would be. Design wise, B, world building. It has a good template, like it's ready for you to put a world on it. The story is competent, it's good. Probably a B. The system, I mean, I have to give it an A because it's like, and by the way, I just realized that I'm like giving school grades. And so if you're like, why aren't you giving an S to anything? Because I keep thinking of report card grades when I'm talking, and then I grade it on this other scale, but who cares? Arbitrary. So yeah, the system, I mean, the system doesn't fit. It was made, it was born to run. Acceleration, I think that this is one of the easiest games. It is excellently explained, and it feels like you can just get up and go with it right away. Solo friendliness, no solo rules, but I think it's solo open. Give it C. And seduction, you know, I guess not as good as I thought. Because again, and maybe it's just who I talk to where I live. I just never seen anyone playing it, and I don't see a lot of hunger for it, which is unfortunate. Let me know, like, tell me I'm wrong because I just think it's a fantastic game. That said, we have to, I'd say, be realistic about it and probably give it a C. Okay, that makes me feel a little better now about Coriolis. But Electric State. How can this be? You know, part of it is that they just got better at doing their thing. So like the system tightens up over time. Look at me rationalizing. All right. All right. The next one will be a bit of a challenge, but I think we could do it. And that is the One Ring. So the One Ring is Lord of the Rings, but it takes place in an interstitial period, I believe, between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I forgot what it's called, Second Age or something. BB, if you're watching this, let me know which one. And the One Ring, from a visual design perspective, is also it is beautiful in the way that it is unified. It is definitely an homage to the books and the world and the images of that world created in the books. It is faithful to that. It has almost a perfect tone to how it is illustrated, and it has a certain ornateness to it, where the details and things such as borders of a page or tiny sigils or the calligraphy of a word almost matter as much as the actual drawings, which I think are quite intermittent. And if we just want to take a quick scroll through to see. So now the cover art here is Martin Grit, and inside is Christian Granath. And see, yeah, here's exactly what I'm talking about. So these images right here are stunning. You know, I mean, they're perfect. But it's pages like this that are actually the most attractive, the most beautiful, and then these type of charcoal pencil drawings. It was just a perfect design choice. And that is like it's stuff like this is hard to judge because of course this is an astounding picture. And this one probably took a lot less time, but it's just sometimes it's about the picture and sometimes it's about the fit of the art. And this does a great job with that. It's just the tone is spot on. Now, it is dense. There is a system. I would say overall, the world building. I mean, what can I say? Uh, it's Lord of the Rings, so I think the world building just has to like wake up on time and come to work, and it does the job. But it does more than just sort of use that to. It carries its own weight. There is obviously some space here to elaborate. It's a story that is made not through creation as much as editing and arrangement. I think they do a really nice job. It can feel to me constricting to play in an IP. I do and don't feel that way with this. I'm just not as versed on Lord of the Rings, and I wonder why. First of all, since I read the books when I was about 12, I guess maybe, and I wasn't ready. But I think that there is probably something that if I knew everything, if I read the Silmarillion, right? If I knew everything here, maybe I would feel a little bit more liberated, or maybe not. Maybe I would feel even more closed in because I say, oh, well, I can't do that. I can't go there. I can't talk to that person. I can't fight that person, right? So you kind of lose your unlimited possibility. Whereas for me, it feels like almost a little bit too big, which makes, again, claims that there's nothing to do in this time period further laughable. There's tons to do in this game, and I think it comes into its fullest bloom in Moria, which in the second edition here, which is when Free League took it over. Moria, I think, is, and I do have a playthrough of Moria. It's great. like it's dungeon delve, uh, and you're doing it at the gates of Durin, and it's just uh, fellowship is definitely something that is taking front and center stage as it should. There's a lot of interactions and reliance upon your party, though it does have really nice solo rules as well. And it does have, I believe, Free League solo rules were made. Yeah, Strider mode. Strider mode is a Free League property. It's available on Drive Through RPG. I don't think there's a maybe I don't think there's a print version of it, but Moria has its own solo set as well, a different set of rules to match that sort of patron dungeon delving system. I do think the more times I play it, that it is a somewhat salient, not critique, but observation that it does have a lot of board game type feel to it, and I'm not always certain what that is. Um, for instance, Forbidden Lands is broken down similarly into different phases and different stages, moments. Do this, then you have to settle this, then this happens, then check for this. There's something that at times felt like it was getting so mechanical that it like drifted away from the reason I was here, which is to like walk around in Middle Earth. And then also, Moria was difficult to put a finger on as well, in as far as like there were times while playing that I felt like I almost had too much accounting. And so it's definitely one of those that's going to depend on the player. And I don't think it's purely good or bad. But I do think that it's a big game that has a lot of big possibilities. And so you really got to be dedicated to sitting down and playing it. And for a certain subset of people, there is unlimited replayability here. I do wonder if this is the apotheosis of what a Lord of the Rings head, a super fan, like, is this what they hope and dream of when it comes to tabletop role playing in this world that they love so much? I don't know. Um, I don't think. I'd be curious to know if there are people who are like, yes, One Ring is the best game ever. That would be hard for me to imagine. I can't imagine people saying like, "Oh man, I love playing the One Ring. I love how everything is like I know exactly what I'm going to do. What do I do now? How do I resolve that, etc." And so I can definitely see that. It's just maybe a clashing of play styles that I get stuck in the liminal space because I do sometimes feel like I am playing a sprawling adventure a la um, Dragonbane. I sometimes feel like I'm playing Sandbox, like Forbidden Lands. And then I also sometimes feel like I'm playing Four Against Darkness, that I'm just like moving a space forward and generating what comes next. So um, I enjoyed it some, but I cannot say that it did not have a super high level of like seduction for me. It definitely did give me a sense of wonder. I thought it was a beautiful book. I think it has a lot of cool things. There's a lot of supplements that they're in the one that was like what the Elven Rings or whatever. They released like some more solo play stuff, which is really cool. There's a new starter set which has standees that are really nice. Overall, though, I think that this could be actually a game that may benefit from like a third edition. But I do fear that based on just how many supplements and how recently and how frequently they put stuff out, that it might be a bit harder to sort of switch too many gears like that because there's too much material that conforms to a certain type of game. And that material is so powerful and magical for some people that I think it would like I think there are some people who would play and love this game even if it like all you had as a weapon was ketchup. They'd say game of the year. Love the ketchup part. So I am going to. I'm going to give it a C. Yeah. I mean, I think all told, it's a good C is for competent. B is for bubblicious. All right. So we are down now to the last three. And next up, alphabetically, we have Twilight 2000. So, Twilight 2000 is, as I've said, an interesting game. From a Free League standpoint, it is the more advanced Year Zero engine. It has the step dice system, and it is also the most tactical. In fact, there is no like standalone core book as far as I know. It comes in the box set starter set because, and I can show you this here. Right now, it is available for. You can get it for $66 on the Free League website, or you can get it for $50 on Amazon. Or right now, you can get it in used, very good, near mint condition on Noble Knight for $36. But even at the $50 price, I think the 66 might be a little tough. Plus, that's like shipping. So I don't know how we feel about that. But it really is an incredible value because you're going to get 152 page player's manual. You are also going to get in here, and this is like the way that Dragonbane was distributed as well originally. They did then reprint the core book. Here we have a 112-page referee's manual. These are a bunch of tokens, and this is where I think people get a little bit intimidated. But again, I think this is a nice, easy introduction to like skirmish wargaming because they include a buttload of maps. Why am I saying buttload? I've said butt like 6 times. Anyway, so tons and tons of maps. Some of these might be from the expansion, but they still give tons. And then these huge, beautiful world maps. Well, not world maps, but like the different areas that you could play in. And so, if you're not familiar, this is actually the 4th edition of the game. It's the first one published by Free League. But this is another retro future game that is about the big one, a World War III that never happened. Okay, so it is basically the alternate history year 2000. There was an attempted invasion by Russia. The Swedes got involved, blocked them. And so you basically play in like Warsaw, the US, Russia, Sweden. Like I said, Free League is giving me, which is pretty awesome, the Hostile Water supplement. And additionally, I have the Urban Operations and Black Madonna Adventures as well. So I really wanted to put this together and play. There are solo rules inside here, and the Hostile Water and Urban Operations, like sort of adventures campaigns, those are being brought to conclusion with Operation Reset, which, as they say here, is actually the spiritual successor to the Ruins of Warsaw supplement that was in the first edition of Twilight 2000 by GDW. Looks to be like another box set that's about half the depth of the core game. It says that they're going to have new factions, encounters, scenarios, rules for mass battles. I do not typically love mass battles, although I must say we did a mass battle in the Pendragon, the group campaign that I'm in, and it was actually really fun, but I'm sure that's a very unique system. A bunch of new battle maps. I'm not seeing anything about more solo rules, which is kind of a bummer. This is on pre-order right now, and it's probably like $40. And that would bring the fourth supplement. Now, if you really want to have a nice blast from the 90s past, you got to look at these previous editions of Twilight 2000 from GDW, because they look like, if anyone remembers the books like Computing for Idiots or whatever, these books look, they are just a total dollop, like a pure distillation of 90s art. Check this out. Well, this is the second edition, but nonetheless, it's like, oh yeah, everything looked like that. That's right. There was like some version of either Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger or Dolph Lundgren on the cover, and I guess this is sort of like a hot chick version of Sylvester Stallone. Am I wrong? Anyways, I'll edit that out. Now, looking into my cards here, I think I missed a little something, which, in addition to like wanting to list the extras, the goodies you get with everything, well, that seems sort of frivolous. There is this like notion of value. And although I talked around it, I think that Twilight 2000 and Dragonbane are bang for your buck, like incredible starter sets. For Twilight 2000, you're getting these cards, which are playing cards, you could see. And then they're also encounters and initiative. And they also have weapon cards that I actually ordered some time ago and never got. I'll check on that at some point. But yeah, so these are great for solo play. Like you're just walking along, and it will tell you the different type that it is, like what sort of interaction, give like a little description of it. And some of them are fighting encounters, some of them are traps, some of them are just like sort of information, a roadblock, murderous bastard. So, and then the classic initiative cards. The other ones that I had in that I separated off were the extra cards that you get with the supplements, like hostile waters, etc. And then the dice are the, like I said, the step dice system. And again, now it seems like embarrassing to say, but at the time when I got into it, and I went from like the very simple systems to this, I was like pretty intimidated by these dice. I'm like, whoa, there's like a lot of stuff going on. Why does this one have two? And it's just the year zero step dice system now. It also has a die that I would say none of the other games have, which is this like you can everyone pass it around and take a look, like the wound or how many hits or where the shots hit. But yeah, so you get these, what is this here? 6, 12, 14, 15 dice, full deck of cards, 5 mini maps, double-sided, a big map, a bunch of like dossier stuff, referee's book, player's book, nice box to carry them all in. I mean, for $50, that's incredible. And if you could find it on Noble Knight for even cheaper, and it looks like the one that I mentioned there for $35, it says that the tokens and everything are unpunched. So yeah, you get those tokens as well. So just a really incredible deal and a really good game with a really well-made storyline that reaches far back. And like I said, there is solo rules here as well. I did just want to sneak in, though, that in terms of, like I said, bang for your buck, there are few that do it better than Dragonbane. I mean, with Dragonbane, you are getting the set of, I think, 10 Dragonbane dice. You're getting a deck of like improvised weapons, traps, initiative cards, weapons, and you're getting a boatload of these standees, and I believe that this is one of them. You're getting like 2 whole things. Some of the standees, they're really nice. You also get like a double-sided combat map that's about like this big. It's just like, it just sets the standard, and that's why I can be sort of a whiny baby about like, well, and Forbidden Lands didn't have any dice, is because you really just get spoiled with a lot of these starter sets. So very similar uh, illustrations that it looks very much like Mutant Year Zero. And it's kind of interesting as I go through these right now between Tales from the Loop, Things from the Flood, Electric State, Twilight 2000, Mutant Year Zero. There's a lot of the past didn't happen and instead it happened like this. It's sort of interesting, like a retro futurist. Are there any other ones? I'll have to think about that some other time. But yeah, and I'd say the layout's a little bit dense. And this is the area that you get a little bit terrified, especially if you're new to it. But again, now that I'm looking at it, it's like, okay, slow actions, fast actions. I know how that goes. There's lots of different options, but there is actually a really great comprehensive GM screen for this. And there's also one online that's even better that lays out the whole life path system. And like I said, I wasn't able to get to the point where I was just like, my play was flowing, but I'm not sure if I would, because it would take me a little while to, especially in vehicle combat. I just don't know if I would ever get to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, okay, so this is component damage. Now I have to roll for protection against nerve and blister agents. There are just some things that unless you're used to skirmish games, it's just going to feel a bit weird. Like even blast radius and stuff like that, it's just is not part of it. But tons of awesome weapons with lots of different options for every army. It's a Red Dawn kind of thing. And base building, which is always great. You have these mosaics. Bases have lots of different modules that you can build onto them. Driving has a whole thing, for exploration. Tons of character sheets like that, and of course, or not character sheets, sorry, like resource tables that you can go on, and then camping mishaps. I just like fire dies, ants, savage animal. So I guess that's like a new band, Savage Animal. And then finally, what I really like about the GM guide is it has these like set pieces. So they don't necessarily have to go in any order, but it's like, okay, you've reached this point. Now you can run like the high school. And you can go to all this in any order that you'd like. Of course, all good books have a children's crusade, as do all good military campaigns. But yeah, again, this is just really you just love to see something like this with so many options and so many randomizing tables. This is just to generate a site, and then here we have solo rules. Not super comprehensive, but pretty good for what it was at the time. This is really nice for creating encounters, and it does use playing cards, which I like. Helpful or hazardous NPC motivations, settlements, and like encountering them. And I think we see a lot of this stuff come back with The Walking Dead, which we'll talk about. So, like I said, I'm going to provisionally slot this, and then I'm going to play it once I get Hostile Waters, and then we'll regrade it. But for now, man, I can't do this. This cannot. No, you go here. I cannot. It's just is unproven. This belongs here. This for sure belongs here. Why did I not put this here? Yeah, I guess it was a fair rating. But yeah, I would say that the design probably like a B, world building B plus, system fit. It's complex, but it works and it's got options for everything. Solo friendly, like a B plus. The acceleration is probably going to be a C minus or a D. I still haven't gotten to the point where I feel comfortable with the system. And the seduction, I would say, is also pretty low. I do like the theme of it. It looks like, a sort of bundle of papers that you would see sprawled out next to a strategy map on a general's table. But it does feel a bit dull sometimes. Even the beautiful mosaic pictures just don't have the kaboom that you'd want them to when you get to them, and it becomes some degree of white noise. So I'm going to put this here at a B. A B. Let me actually like average out what I just said here. Nah, no. It would be like a B plus an A plus a B plus a D plus a B plus a C. Yeah, I think we'll put it here. This, I think, goes... No, I'm keeping this right here. But is One Ring really right there? Yeah, I guess so. Man, it's like... I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. Now, interestingly enough, and sunk cost, all right? You're already this far into the video. You just discovered now I don't know what I'm talking about. You might as well just finish it so that you can feel like earn your suffering. But this is pretty wild as far as how wild things go. Next up, we have Vaesen, and not even kidding, I just like paused it. One of my pauses that I did about 5 minutes ago in the video was because speak of the angel, because as I was saying, Free League is total G. They sent me, I asked for PDF review copies. They sent me hardcover review copies of Mythic Carpathia and City of My Nightmares for Vaesen. Now, I have taken a look at those on the channel on the PDF. I also created a solo Vaesen tool that is available on DriveThruRPG. It's called Lantern, a single lantern in the dark. I really should know that. You can find it. I'll put the link below. But I'm jazzed about both of these, and I think these are both great exemplars of what I'd like to say about Vaesen. In terms of design, I mean, it's just another level. I mean, that's a painting you would see in a museum, right? I mean, it's like unbelievable. The art is stunning. Are you kidding me? Are these like historical paintings, or are these actual paintings done for this book? So it has like an excellent combination of these sort of like flourishes that are that I talked about with One Ring that make it look really special. The font, the arrangement, everything looks really good. And then you also have this Dragonbane type, I guess Dragonbane is Vaesen type illustration here, unified illustration. The Vampire Hunter is awesome. I've been really excited about playing with this archetype. And of course, we get now Baba Yaga. These are the Vaesen of Carpathia. So if you are not familiar, Vaesen is a folkloric investigation game set originally, I guess, in 19th century Scandinavia. Also in there's Mythic Britain. Now we have, I think this one is Stockholm, and Carpathia, set in 19th century Stockholm, but can be adapted to London, Prague, or any Gothic metropolis. It includes a separate large map of Stockholm with a newspaper. Oh yeah, that's right. There's a newspaper. This one, and then this one is the information about the Carpathia branch of the society, a gazetteer of the city of Prague, a chapter with local Vaesen, and 3 complete mysteries. So Vaesen are like Nordic. They're not necessarily monsters or ghosts, like some of them are, but they're creatures or entities who live on the other side of like the veil. And so in this game, those with the sight can see the Vaesen, and some of the Vaesen are harmless. Some of them could even be helpful, but some of them are like naughty, and then some of them are straight up gonna kill you. And so this one I was really excited about because obviously Carpathia, we have Dracul, we have in this one Vampire Golem, Baba Yaga. because this it says 3 new complete mysteries to play set in Prague, Ukraine, and Transylvania. And so these maps, like Dragonbane, are just the type of thing that you're like, I wish this wasn't folded. I would love to frame this. I'd like to make a wall of all of these maps, but I think I might. I don't know. That's like you could do if your husband does a wall of Free League maps. Can't you get like an auto divorce, and you get all the money? I mean, as long as I get to keep the maps. No, I'm kidding. BB, I would never, please. But yeah, so right here, nice little city stroll. And this is Prague. Okay. Was this the one that had the Gazette? Or was that the other one? Ah, right. Check this out. How cool is this? So yeah, like the players could have this. Lord in heaven. Stunning. Stunning. I want that, but doesn't that look like US dollar text? American. Doesn't that look like US dollar text? Wow, this is so cool. Ugh. Okay. So, yeah, so in terms of design, you're getting auto A. I mean, please. And just like the Tales from the Loop, etc., is based on Simon Stålenhag, this is all based on the Vaesen books by Johan Egerkrans. And there are these like Vaesen books that are, I guess, like maybe children's books. Not really, though. I mean, they're illustrated like this. So these are the types of pictures you have. But yeah, this is something that, despite being a mystery investigation, it does have some pieces to it that make it, at least for me, a little bit easier to imagine solo playing it. Obviously, I created the solo rule set for it, but this is just such a digestible game. Again, it's a game that, and I know some people would scoff at this, but if you're somebody who just likes to read and just have these very cool, beautiful books, this is certainly, you could do a lot worse than this. Has very well defined NPCs, and you have this society, the society that is the folks that are in charge of investigating the Vaesen, cataloging them, and also, I would say, like, kind of keeping the veil shut. Recently, there was, if you're interested in this, I would highly recommend, they recently released a starter set for it, which, again, I don't know if they ever did that, or if this is the first one, but it's a winner. And again, I did do a video on this. I'm not going to be able to link everything. Just, peruse. Everything's so well organized on my page. It's not. So the starter set is pretty affordable. It is a starter set in that it's going to get you booted up. So we have some classic initiative cards. Oh, a single lantern. Here is my supplement. I knew it was hiding in there somewhere. And yeah, so this is my like latest attempt to generate something. Wow, I can't believe look at that. That's really nice. This shows how much of like a trance I go into when I'm creating these things. I'm like, wow, I actually made a really nice table. This, of course, is from like a Free League gives you a template when there are games that are the Free League Workshop ones. Like Vaesen has a specific template that you follow. But still, I mean, I am not the best at like aligning stuff. So let me pull this out of here. So this is not about my solo supplement. Again, I did do a video on this, but yeah, I just added some rules here for creating a companion for solo play. So that takes some of the edge off, some adjustments to combat, some adjustments to like how you could administer first aid to yourself, these edge mechanics, weekly headlines to do rumors and stuff. But it must be said that there is a Free League proper. Like this is not Free League Workshop. This is actually released by Free League. It's a solo thing. It's only available digitally. It's not bad. It's a solo system for generating mysteries. It's definitely a journaling game. It's limited. You probably, it's in my opinion, it is both a if you just want to have some sort of experience, like some excuse to get immersed into the book and stuff, it's good. It's just basically a solo journaling game, and then it has like a light clue system that is fine. There's just different like columns of clues, and you sort of match it up and narrow it down. It's a little bit like a game of Guess Who, but yeah, this is some other stuff. Gorgeous character sheets that come in this box. It's very hard to get this stuff out. So this contains a big, awesome map of the Mythic North, and it also there is a very much a drought of dice when it comes to Vaesen. Now you don't need a lot because there's only base dice in the game, but I do remember that when I purchased the game originally and I bought the not cheap dice, there were 6 of them, which doesn't feel like a lot. This one does come with a lot more, but unfortunately, and I cannot. This you're gonna lose either lose all respect or just be like, what is this guy is so annoying. But I just have to say it for the good of the order. I'm colorblind, so the fact that these are not like what is it, browned, yellowed, they just lose a little bit of something. They become like kind of regular dice. I don't know. But the big point is that you're going to get now in the starter set for like $10 more than just these dice. You're going to get this whole starter set, which includes 10 dice, which is great. And those initiative cards, you get like a little booklet to pass out to players. There's these cards, which are really, really nice that you could pass out to players at your table, but it's also good for solo play as like a little rules reminder. The intro adventure, The Haunting of Castle Gillenkreuz, is really cool because Gillenkreuz is like your stronghold. And there is one picture in here that I could just look at forever. I think it might be, yeah. Oh, I love that like locked isometric view of just like pulling apart the whole headquarters. And so it's cool. It's kind of a prequel to show like, oh, how did this society get this? And then it does have very nice rule set, has good, very, like pretty much, I think, obviously you don't have a lot of the material you would need to generate the mysteries and everything, but it does, I think it captures just about all the rules. And then these really nice cards. There are like 5 or 6 of them that you could pass out to everyone at the table. Here's how you do a skill test, the push. And this also you could pass out to the players to be like, it's the Codex Occultum. And it is just like the listing of all of the Vaesens that are going to be in play, as well as these kind of little handouts and everything that you can say, oh, you received a letter from so-and-so. Again, I mean, it's I'm blue in the face saying it by this point, but it's just these kind of things that just make Free League a cut above and make it feel like a special experience. This is from Land of the Blind. And this was, oh yeah, it was like a mystery tracker. I've never used this, but that is from, what's his name? He just released Vagabond, some character sheets. Oh yeah, this is a nice expansion. And then yeah, these great big maps, and Uppsala, which is the epicenter of this society in the first game. Fantastic map of the Mythic North, very high stock, and then Uppsala proper, so that you can kind of do a little jaunt around. And Castle Geilenkreuz should be on the city edge. Is it up top here? Yeah, it's all the way up here. So I'm going to give Vaesen an A on design, and you should have seen that coming. World building, again, it's kind of tricky because the world building is from Johan Egerkrans, but it's like he's involved in the project, but also that world building is based on like folklore. Um, I just think though that we really need to look at originally what I said is how well does this game immerse you into this world? How much do you feel like you're a part of this? And I think it's maxed out. I really do. I think it's just fantastic from every little font, every little flourish, from every single page. You know that you're playing Vaesen. The system, I do feel like it is a bit limited. I feel this way. Doesn't feel as harsh in some games as it does others, but especially with the low amount of dice that you get, there's an expectation there that you're going to be rolling 6 dice. That doesn't seem that like that will scale very well. Um, as well as I do think that there are moments in the game where I never played a campaign, but I've played several one shots with groups. And it does feel like, unless you have a very motivated group, that there are these inevitable points where the GM's like, all right, what do you want to do next? And the players are like, I have no clue where to even begin, And so it does, I think, it is more of a quest that you are led along. The mystery isn't something where like I'm up nights trying to piece together different photos with string on my wall or whatever. So I will probably give the system. I'll probably give it a C, and then acceleration, up and running in terms of using the game. That's probably an A. Solo friendly, of course, cannot count my system. It's not an official supplement or anything like that. And so we look at Thursday's Child. I would say overall, it's not a hard system to start soloing. I'd say it is a hard system to get a full sort of feeling that you have like a full, complete, worthwhile, invested solo experience with it. And even with Thursday's Child, I think there was a little bit of a miss there. I'd wish they had developed that out more in some of the further supplements. So even with the tools that are available, I'd probably give it a C. And Seduction, I have to give it an A. I mean, this game, you just pull it right off the shelf. You want to like eat it. It's so nice. It's got that just like fabric exterior to it, the pictures, everything awesome. So I'm going to so we have like A, and yeah, it's an A. It's an A. All things told, it's an A. We can't deny it. And I know like I feel this way that it shouldn't be on this level with these games that are so much more like strategically comprehensive, but that's only one part of what we're looking at. And the last one for today, at least, is going to be the game that is a real question mark. And that is, of course, the Walking Dead universe. So there was. What the hey? So, what could be said of the Walking Dead? Design-wise, again, I think it borrows very heavily from a few different games with Twilight 2000 here. It All right, let me as it's the end of the video here, I guess I could say I I'm pretty sure nobody likes The Walking Dead anymore. Like I don't there must be though. There must be tons of people who like The Walking Dead because they keep doing spin-off shows. But I remember after about like season 5, we were like I don't care anymore. I don't You could put Carl in a catapult and shoot him, across who cares? Daryl is I don't care. Yeah. Like and Daryl's being Daryl and then Daryl and Carol. Um and Michonne still got a katana and it was like this stuff where it was like, okay, I kind of get it. Negan was pretty cool. I also read the graphic novels, and so I do think that this was interesting in a lot of ways that they picked up this IP when they did, because to be clear, it is the show, which I think like Mantic had the IP to Walking Dead for the sort of a board game skirmish game, and that was based on the graphic novels, which first blush, like I would have thought that would have been a better direction, just given like the art direction and the type of uh, severe quality of some of the material. Like Alien is at the same level of like the brutality and the starkness and the barrenness of the graphic novel. So when I was like, oh, this is definitely like AMC is on the front cover here, um it was a bit of a shock. I look at this and I'm like, yeah, that's like a cool thing, but like I've moved past this moment. Like there was maybe a moment in 2012 or something where I was like, wow, yeah, just think of that. But now I'm like, I've thought of it. I get it. So, skill craft wise, it's obviously very, very good. It does have, no matter how many like blood splatters you put on a page, there is some level of monotony. The system is very similar to Alien. Um, but let me just say the surprise about this game is it's very good. I wouldn't say there's anything in it that is really like, wow, this changes the game. There's a cool threat meter. I'm also fairly certain, looking at this now, that I must have bought the dice twice. I mean, you tell me. There's no way that this many dice. As far as the game, there's the core book, there's the starter set, there's the GM screen, there's dice. The starter set also comes with like this threat meter, which is nice. The starter set doesn't have a lot in it. It's a true starter set. What's interesting about it too is like there's nothing in the box here, and I think it's because the maps were so similar to like the Twilight 2000 maps that I can't even tell the difference between them, and so I just sort of filed them together. The condensed rule books are fine; they're easy to follow. They do these pre-gens of like Carol, Glenn, and it's like I don't want to play as Glenn. I know what happens to Glenn. Like I don't. So it's just a very interesting thing. I could show you the condensed rule books here. Oh yeah, we got some maps. Yeah, so it's not much to say. Okay, here's the maps. And can't say this is one map. It's very nice, but I can't say that I'm like aching. With apologies to those from Georgia, I'm not aching to get the Blue Ridge Mountains or Atlanta up on my wall. It's a fine map though. It doesn't have the artistry that other ones have. I think this one is from the tabletop game, but part of me feels like it's from the Mantic game that got mixed in with it, which I also have. And I guess just to give a comparison of what I'm referring to. Yeah, I'm not going to be able, it's like at the bottom of my board game stack. But yeah, it's a pretty nice game. Available here on Noble Knight for $40.50 with sealed cards. Not bad. $40, yeah. I mainly got this because it has miniatures and it has like, what is it, 6 members of your group, and then it has like 10. Now, don't call them walkers because in the comic book they are roamers. And it has like some different weapons to draw. I thought that would be cool, just like kind of finding stuff on the road instead of using a table or something. I just like drawing cards for it. I painted these up. I haven't used it yet. I'll be interested to see. But it's just, I think this is a testament to the fact that I really do want to keep playing this game, because yeah, there's nothing here that's really stunning or startling. There's one mechanic here that I don't love. I see what they're trying to do with it. You have like anchors, and these are people who can reduce your stress. And so the idea is that like, oh, well, if these people die, that's going to leave you without an anchor. You're more likely to get panic and stress, but it's just hard to manage it, because especially if you're playing group play, if you have a settlement, are you not traveling? You're going back to the settlement. If you are traveling, are we stopping by and doing visits with everyone's anchor? It has really good NPC generation. Haven's okay as far as a stronghold goes. These are all of the different archetypes here. I like the nobody. Looks like Britt Marling. Oh man, I would be this dude for sure because this is like the greatest character in the series, the governor. Yeah, so on and on. There are solo rules. It does use skill and I guess they're called, yeah, base dice and skill dice. There's no gear dice, and it does. It's pretty much Alien. Like I would say, the system is fairly similar to that. A lot of emphasis on blood and gore, nice weapon stuff, nice vehicle stuff, and a big old table of D66 ways that a walker could attack you. Oh, yeah, I guess there is one mechanic that is kind of interesting is that there is a special kind of combat to deal with like a horde so that it feels like you're running through a group of these like which is going to be different. You know, the walkers aren't going to take turns and have initiative. They're just going to kind of stumble all over and then eat you. Has GM guidance in it. And obviously a big thing is factions. This is the core premise of Walking Dead, is that like the real monsters are humans, which I'm kind of fatigued on that whole idea. It's like, yeah, but the zombies are all are literal monsters. So I mean, you know, um, but I will say the nice random locations here. The solo play, I was uh, blown away when I finally sat down and set up a solo play game of this, um, because it just does such a great job, and it actually has this way of mapping out like the relationships and the faction relationships, and has you set up these different ways of doing walker swarms as you're traveling, and like decreasing odds as you go further out and moving. Um, and it does have a nice solo loop as well of like going for supply runs, exploring buildings is fun. It's fun. And a whole solo combat system. Like, look at this. This is a really nice solo set here. So yeah, I would say design wise, competent, but sort of boring. A C. World building, it's tough, man. B minus, a C. I mean, walking. It's hard to think about what standard I judge this on. Like, they do a really nice job of porting the Walking Dead show, but that in and of itself is kind of a problem because these people's lives are. We know what happens to a lot of them, and if we don't, we kind of don't care anymore. After Herschel died, uh, leave it to me. There's probably like a huge people who faction of you who love this show and like are still keeping up with Fear the Walking Dead and all this stuff. But I I'm betting that that's probably unlikely. The solo section, I'm going to give it a B plus. It's not as good as like The Great Dark or Alien, but it was surprisingly good. Seduction wise, again, that's a tough question because the actual content of it is like not that exciting to me. But I do often want to play it. I think what I think about a lot is like, what would my campaign become? You know, like what would this become over time? It could be something really cool where we have like settlements and different trade agreements and different travel routes and stuff. But there's part of me that kind of fades a little bit where I'm being like, I just think that this world is overdetermined. That said, props to Free League on this game because they definitely could have just mailed it in, and they didn't. They made a damn fine game out of this. It's like probably 175 pages. And so I think, and this is probably going to make me upset too. No, I think it's just going to be really boring. I think this goes here. Wow. I was probably supposed to do like something controversial, right? That's how you make these popular. I don't have any down theory. I suck at this. Yeah, so sorry, I think they're all pretty good. And I appreciate those who made them. Okay, so to-dos. We're going to do, at some point, Symbaroum, a combined Tales from the Loop, Things from the Flood, another rendition of Twilight 2K. I also would like, but I don't want to overstretch myself, so I'll probably wait till we get Arcane and Book of Magic to dive back into Dragonbane. But I have been thinking of Dragonbane quite a bit and how much I just miss playing it. There is a video that is rolling around in my head a lot just about how I think I am yearning to change something about my approach on this channel. I don't want to compete with channels that are like trying to do a review of every new game. And it's not because I'm like a sore loser who's taking my ball and going home. I'm very happy for those channels. And that doesn't mean I don't want to review games that I think are cool and stuff. But I would rather get more invested in a game, a single game. And I would rather do more videos about exploring some of the topics, meta themes that emerge rather than being like, here's this game, here's this game, here's this game. That said, I have right next to me a delivery from Drive-Thru RPG of like 5 new games, not Free League at all. The last one, so Symbaroum, Tales from the Loop, and then Blade Runner as well. So these will be some projects over the next few months here in this box right here. Let me know what you think. I've generated probably no controversy whatsoever. I also have made a 2-hour plus video. So in closing, I would like to say that links are below. I have a solo supplement for, like I said, Vaesen as well as Dragonbane. The Dragonbane is a platinum bestseller, so a lot of people like that. That is, it's cool. I say that because I as a nod to recognize that we worked really really hard on that. I'm so proud of how that turned out. There's a fun troll system. It's like it's got it's a little bit of like a solo campaign and a solo choose your own adventure, but it has a lot of space for you to improvise and kind of sandbox travel and stuff like that. So otherwise, I might be working on some solo material for another one of these that might emerge one day. We'll see. I'm very, very excited about Alien. I really want it to get here, but I do have the PDF and have been playing it. So yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, thanks a lot and goodbye.